local. Late breaking. This is WBAL TV 11 News Saturday morning.
Thanks, Delencia. Well, buckle up. We are in for the best history lesson you'll get. It's our guy. Amazing National Preservation Month. So we're closing out the month with celebrity historian Raffi Andonian to talk Americana and historic preservation from the days of George Washington all the way up to today locally here in Maryland. I love when you come in. I always learn the best, most fascinating things.
Well, thank you. And you know what? You mentioned Historic Preservation Month, so look, I'm legit. I got my degree here in historic preservation from the University of Georgia. Now, it's one of the original 13 colonies from right down the coast, so I'll count it, right? Historic preservation, original 13, it counts. So this is my background in it, absolutely.
Nice. My mom is doing her own historic preservation. She's got my degree at the house. I don't get to keep my own degree.
Now, I love that you mentioned that because that's exactly what historic preservation is about. A lot of times we think it's kind of a museum behind a red rope, and sure, some of that exists. But actually, a lot of times, historic preservation is private citizens that are organizing their own home at times, or their business that might be in a historic building. And in their photo albums, exactly. Because preservation is about a sense of place. Think about Baltimore, a beautiful city architecturally, and it makes sense. You know, it may not be one particular museum or something, but it's the whole piece put together. I think its architecture here is very underrated. And it's also, what's important about preservation is not just about the past. It's about how we look into the future. It's about what we choose to protect and preserve and the decisions we make of what we want into posterity. I'll give you a quick example locally. How about the Babe Ruth home, the birthplace of Babe Ruth? That home used to be in disrepair some decades ago. Believe it or not, Babe Ruth's home was in disrepair. The local citizens organized, a nonprofit came together, and now is protected for people to visit. Of course, right near the Baltimore Orioles ballpark, which is perfect. His first ball club, of course, is Babe Ruth. So it gives you an idea of how preservation actually works.
I think about Edgar Allan Poe. I think about stained glass windows.
Right. That's exactly right. Edgar Allan Poe, his grave, that's right. Now, what I also brought, what we want to think about is how technology plays into historic preservation. So let's pull these up here. So this right here is papyrus from Egypt. I used to go to Egypt as a kid many summers. My mom is from Egypt. And the papyrus is a great example of how different disciplines can come together in historic preservation. So I was talking with someone at a historical society, and they had a background in art history and chemistry. Why? Let's look at this right here. Obviously, art history helps you understand the artistic depiction on the papyrus, and chemistry to be able to protect a document like this for thousands of years. So things can come together, and that's why you have this natural, you have things like training centers and so on. So it's not just historic sites. And restoration, exactly. So sometimes you may visit a place like, say, locally, Hampton National Historic Site, or Fort McHenry, or Antietam National Battlefield, or how about Harriet Tubman Underground Railroad National Historical Park, which tells the stories that we tell ourselves, and so, and how we protect the future. But it's also, like you said, the local places, the local homes, and private citizens. Now, if I may, let's go back a little bit further on the private homes. George Washington's private. By the way, there's a photo of me at Fort McHenry, imprisoned, as you just saw in there. but the George Washington's home, let's take now here in the Chesapeake region. George Washington's home was protected by private citizens in early America, just a generation later. John Hancock's home, which was John Hancock being the biggest signature on the Declaration of Independence, was not protected, and that triggered an early American debate of who are we as a people if we succumb to commercial interest to bulldoze John Hancock's home. But on the other hand, they're also organized to protect George Washington's home. So that question has been around since historic times for 200 years. It's not something that is new. In fact, early Americans, as they expanded to the Midwest and in the Ohio Valley, loved finding American Indian mounds, ancient mounds, because they thought of it as this is ancient America. And this helps us compete with Europe. We, too, have an ancient civilization, and they built upon that story. It was actually embraced, believe it or not. So these stories of private interest versus public good and what's the right balance have been around since early America.
I love that. Look, we love when you come in here because you always give us the best information.
Absolutely.
And you can even do your own preservation, like we said. Do your photo albums and all those things.
And real quick, if I can say just a couple local resources that folks can do is you can go to Baltimore City's website to check it out. There's also a county historical site for preservation work. There's also Preservation Maryland, and there is also specialized local historic preservation places of Federal Hill. So you have tons of resources here in Baltimore to check out and preserve.
We gotta go. Love when you come. Stay with us. We'll be right back.